Okay, so picture this. It's what, 3.47 in the morning. The world is just dead quiet, and you're standing in a building that has been around since, the 17th century. It's got that smell, old
Woof.
dust and history.
Mm-hmm.
And inside the wall, buried behind all this plaster, there's a lead pipe. It was put there in 1847. For almost 200 years, it's been doing its job, carrying water, expanding, contracting. But it's also been doing something else. It's been accumulating these tiny mineral crystals on the inside, atom by atom.
The slow, invisible buildup of time.
Exactly. And tonight, this Pacific night, the weight of those crystals changes the pipe's resonant frequency. Just enough. And it starts to make a sound.
So it's not broken. Not yet.
Not yet, it's singing. And that sound isn't just noise, it's a history of the solar system, sung through water and minerals.
That is such a specific, haunting image to start with. It really grounds you in the physical world of these texts.
It's the image that totally hooked me. It comes from the first of two really dense, really fascinating texts we are breaking down today. We're looking at the Hesitation Catalogue by Penix Slamo, and then it's Dark Mirror, the Unattended by Penix Rizaron.
And these are not, your standard novels. They feel less like stories and more like philosophical systems that are just disguised as fiction.
That's a great way to put it. We're basically diving into a core conflict here. On one side, you have fusion, this world in the Hesitation Catalogue where everything is connected, where pipes and tea and buildings are actors. They have agency.
And on the other side, in the Unattended, you have residue, the absolute horror of what happens when those connections break.
So it's connection versus isolation. Or, to use the book's own terms, it's the power of attention versus the terror of neglect. Our mission for this deep dive is to explore this idea of threshold ontology.
Which sounds incredibly academic, I know.
It does. But I promise we'll unpack it into something that actually makes sense. So let's start with the connection side. We have to talk about Maren Thoft, our protagonist from the first book. She has what might be the coolest job title I've ever read.
Hesitation researcher.
Right. It sounds like something you'd put on a business card just to confuse people. Now, when I hear hesitation, I think of me at the fridge, not knowing what to eat. But that's not what she's doing, is it?
No, not at all. Maren isn't studying human indecision. She's studying threshold states in the physical world. Think back to that singing pipe you mentioned.
But one that hasn't burst yet.
Precisely. Before a pipe bursts, there's a period where it's neither fully functional nor fully broken. It's vibrating. It's signaling that a change is coming.
Yeah.
That vibration is what Maren calls hesitation.
So her argument is that reality isn't made of these static objects that just sit there.
No, it's made of these ongoing negotiations, these moments of not yet.
So if we'd just listened to the hesitation, to the singing pipe, we could have prevented the catastrophe.
In theory, yes, but it goes deeper. It's really about agency. Maren believes that everything participates in the world. And she means everything. She thinks we ignore like 99% of the conversation happening around us because we only listen to humans.
This is where it gets a little trippy for me. There's this section where she's just drinking a cup of tea.
Oh, that's a beautiful passage.
It is. But instead of just moving on with the plot, she goes on this whole mental journey. She deconstructs the tea.
She realizes it's not just leaves and water. She traces it all the way back.
Yeah. It's sunlight hitting a hillside in Sri Lanka. It's international trade treaties. It's the copper plumbing in her wall. She says the tea participates in the world. Now, is she just giving her tea feelings like a Disney character?
That's the common critique, but no. She's talking about something sociologists would call actor network theory, or what she calls the parliament of things. The tea doesn't have consciousness, not like us. But it does have agentive capacity.
Agentive capacity. Okay, break that down.
It just means it has the power to act on the world. The tea responds to heat, to gravity. It changes your body temperature when you drink it. It alters your mood. It shapes reality just as much as we do. We think we're the main characters and everything else is just the set dressing.
The props.
Exactly. Maren is saying, no, the props are co-authors of the story.
She even applies this to her work with scientists. I found this part so relatable. She's studying climate modelers. And you'd think they would be super rigid, all about hard data, zeros and ones.
But Maren finds they treat their computer models like temperamental coworkers.
Yes. They say things like, oh, she doesn't like the humidity today, or the model's in a mood. They talk about the software like it's a person they're trying not to upset.
And it's fascinating because it shows that even in hard science, they're not trying to eliminate uncertainty, they're dwelling in it. They treat the model not as a tool like a hammer, but as a partner. They listen to it.
And that's the core of her philosophy. You have to listen to the non-human world.
Yes, to understand what's actually happening.
Dwelling in uncertainty. It sounds stressful, but also kind of freeing. But Marin doesn't just sit around thinking about tea. The plot really kicks in when her apartment building is threatened.
Right, this is where the theory hits the pavement. Developers want to tear it down.
And normally, the argument to save a building is about the people. You know, Mrs. Higgins has lived here 40 years, that kind of thing.
The sentimental value.
Exactly. Marin makes that argument too, but her main point is that the building itself is an actor. She quotes this architect who said, "A building is not a thing, but a process."
Which is such a cool way to look at it. It's not just bricks. It's a living history of repairs, of sunlight fading the paint, of foundations settling.
And it works. The building is preserved not just because of the tenants, but because the community learns to see it as a participant in their lives. They see it as a neighbor.
That's Marin's world in a nutshell. Noticing the connections, witnessing the non-human, and realizing we're all tangled up in this together.
Okay, so that's fusion. Everything's connected. Everything matters. It feels warm, almost safe. Now we have to flip the coin. We have to pivot to the second text, the unattended. And I have to be honest, this book, it unsettled me.
It's supposed to. If Marin's world is about hyperconnection, this one is about the terror of disconnection. The whole book is organized into these chapters called withdrawals.
Withdrawals. Just the word is so clinical and cold.
And they're all scenarios where reality starts to fail because no one is watching.
The first one that really stuck with me was the Valley of Unwitnessed Events.
Dr. Lena Sorvik. She goes into this remote valley to study an ecosystem that's been, totally untouched by humans.
And she expects to find pure, wild nature. But what she finds is that the animals there, they aren't just wild. They're wrong.
Wrong how?
Well, she tries to touch a little mouse, and it just vanishes. Poof. Gone. Like a glitch in a video game.
It vanishes because in this valley, things happen but they don't matter. Rain falls, animals live and die. But because there is no witness, no one to observe and acknowledge it, existence doesn't stick.
It's like a terrifying reversal of Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
Here, observation is what makes reality solid. Without it, you just have this ghostly flow.
It really gets at that old philosophical question. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? This book says the tree doesn't even fully exist. Reality requires a witness.
And if the valley was lonely, the next case study is just straight up horror. The Machine and Excision.
Oh, this one is chilling.
We have these two engineers, Casper and Venn, building a machine. But it doesn't destroy things. It excises them.
And that is a crucial distinction. Destruction leaves debris. If you smash a coffee cup, there are shards, there's a trace. Excision removes the fact of its existence from reality. It cuts the threads.
The scariest part is the logbook. They have these logs of people who were processed by the machine. Henriksen, Malik, Chen, and the engineers can see the names in their own handwriting, but they cannot remember the people at all.
Because the memory has been scrubbed from the network.
It's like a hole in their minds. They're staring at a name and feeling nothing.
It proves Marin's point from the first book, but in reverse. Memory isn't just a file in your brain, it's a network. It lives in relationships and shared experiences. If you excise the subject, the memory has nowhere left to live. It just becomes a hollow shape.
Which brings us to The Town Without Witnesses. This one felt a little more hopeful. At least it had a resolution. A woman named Mira stumbles into a town where everyone is just frozen, like statues.
They had forgotten how to be seen. That's the line that got me. They had been so isolated, so unwitnessed that they just lost their animus. They became patterns without meaning.
But then Mira makes eye contact with one of them, Vera, and just that look, just the act of seeing her, wakes her up.
It's the awakening. It proves we grant reality to each other. We are the batteries for each other's existence. When Mira witnesses them, they become real again. It really shows that this book isn't just about sci-fi. It's a metaphor for social isolation.
So you have these two huge opposing forces, but the texts don't just stay in their separate corners. There's a synthesis. They mirror each other.
They do. And the bridge between them is often this idea of failure, or what we call failure.
Right. The Museum of Failed Experiments. It's this underground museum run by a curator, Ada Krill, and it's full of machines that didn't work. But there's one artifact experiment, 7,719, the sphere.
This is such a great twist. It's a communications device labeled a total failure, never worked. But when Ada holds it, it speaks to her telepathically.
And what it says just gave me chills. It says, the experiment failed because the failure was yours, not ours.
We received your signal. We responded. You did not understand the response.
So the aliens, or whoever they were, did call back. The humans were just listening on the wrong frequency.
Exactly. It completely redefines failure. The failure wasn't a lack of function, it was a lack of attention, a lack of proper witnessing. Ada can hear it because she spent her life attending to the broken and the failed. She's tuned herself to the frequency of the unattended.
Speaking of attending to the broken, we have to talk about the sleepers. This was the most emotional part of the whole thing for me.
Horan, the caretaker.
Yeah. He looks after these people in cryogenic freeze. But the technology failed. They are never, ever going to wake up. And he knows it.
But he refuses to let them become just objects. He writes their stories.
This is the ultimate act of care. He creates an entire biography for Elena the cellist, imagining the life she would have had. He doesn't just dust the pods. He curates their lost humanity.
And when Oren dies, the system just broadcasts those stories out into the void.
So even if the people are gone, the witnessing continues. It connects right back to Marin's catalog. He's cataloging the lost, she's cataloging the hesitating. They're both refusing to let that residue win.
They are maintaining the connection, even in the face of absolute loss.
Which brings us to the end. The legacy of Marinsoft. She spends her life building this hesitation catalog, just endless notes on the moments before things resolve.
And look at how she dies. She doesn't fight it. She documents it. Entry 2103, the hesitation of breath. She treats her own death as just another threshold state to be observed.
And her students keep the catalog going. It's never finished.
It can't be finished because hesitation possibility is inexhaustible. It's a very hopeful, open-ended legacy. The work of attention is never done.
Now, contrast that with the ending of The Unattended, The Last Witness. This is just bleak. We're at the end of the universe. There is one person left, a modified human sitting on a shore.
This is the ultimate withdrawal. The Last Witness has spent eons observing the decay of everything just to make sure it didn't go unseen, but finally, she stops attending.
The Last Witness became the last thing witnessed.
And then there was nothing left. It's the total inverse of Marin's legacy. Her work expands forever through her students. The Last Witness's work contracts until it vanishes. It perfectly illustrates the two paths. Create reality by sharing attention, or extinguish it by withdrawing.
So bringing this all back, what does this mean for us? For you and me, for anyone listening? We're not at the end of the universe, and we're not Marinsoft.
I think the core philosophy is that we are all, in our own small ways, Marins. We are constantly choosing what to attend to. By paying attention to something, a friend, a project, a crisis, even a pet, we are granting it reality. We're pulling it out of the unattended and into the network of existence.
And if we ignore it, we're casting it into the valley. We're letting it be excised.
Precisely. We create the reality we inhabit by where we point our attention. The Unattended is described as the residue of the first book. It's the dust left over when connection fails. And I guess our job is to minimize the residue, to be good witnesses.
That is a lot to think about. It makes me want to go home and just, I don't know, stare at my toaster for a bit. Acknowledge its participation in my breakfast.
It deserves it. It's working hard. It's hesitating between bread and toast, just for you.
Before we sign off, I just want to leave our listener with one final thought. Look around the room you're in right now. Really look. What objects, what systems, pipes, wires, the hum of your fridge are currently hesitating? What is waiting for you to notice it before it resolves into a crisis? Are you acting as a witness to your own world, or were you letting the unattended pile up around you?
That's the question.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.